Station. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to One Collection Down and welcome to Actionfest 2025. Hell yeah, man. Tonight we are going to be kicking off Actionfest with the 1990, depends on who you ask, classic I Come in Peace or Dark Angel, depending on what part of the world you live in. But yeah, man, can't wait to get into this thing. When Robbie asked me to be a part of Action Fest, little did he know I already had a list going of action movies I wanted to cover. And I was thinking, I had some, regular classics, things that everybody had already, I think love. But I wanted to get something from the '80s, and I didn't really want to get like the normal stuff, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, those kind of movies. I wanted to get something that was like that, but not really, talked about or known. And I think I got the movie, guys. I think I found it. And of course, tonight I'm always joined by a few friends of mine. I had to put together a crack team, guys. A crack team of 80s schlock experts, if you will. So please, everybody, help me welcome first up on the panel, my brother Gary B, the casual comic guy.
Station. What's up, man?
What's going on, Gary? How are you tonight?
I am good. It was a lot of fun rewatching this movie a couple times. I hadn't seen it, although there's a few of the lines in it that live in my head forever.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely one of those. Definitely has lines in it. All right, let's bring out our next panelist. This is my brother, my Instagram brother. He's a great, what do you call it, like a connoisseur of horror and anime. So I was like, I got to bring this guy on. And when I talked to him about doing the show, he was like, man, I love '80s action movies. I was like, oh shit, I got the movie for you, brother. So everybody help me welcome Hounds of Gore, my brother Jake.
Yo, I come in peace. What's up, man? What's up,
Hopefully
guys?
you stay in peace, right? Because we don't want you to leave in peace.
I may go in pieces. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes.
How's it going,
Thanks for
Jake?
having me, man.
Hell
Doing
yeah,
well,
bro.
doing well.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's bring out our next panelist, my brother, man. This dude is he reviews movies himself on his channel. And what I love about this guy is that he does really bad movies and he does really good movies, and he like separates it. I'm talking about my brother Matt, Heroes for Hire.
Station.
What's going on, Matt? Don't kill me, Matt. Don't kill me. Oh shit. Oh man, how you doing, my brother?
I'm fine. I've been saving that prop all day. All right.
Oh man, but they didn't know that shit was going to go out, right? Like they probably thought CDs were going to be here forever.
Firing CDs at people. That's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm looking at let's fire CD shooter.
Funny-
that was a razor disc though. That was next technology.
Oh yeah.
Next technology.
Funny enough, not the only movie that used razors as CDs as a weapon. I don't know if you remember Hellraiser 3.
I do. It's one of I think it's an underrated Hellraiser movie.
CD Cinnabite.
All right, guys. So I Come in Peace, man. A movie from 1990 starring Dolph Lundren. Basically a movie about a detective that he's like a rule breaker, renegade cop kind of guy, and basically
those are the only kind of cops in the 80s and 90s.
That's all there was.
Renegade cops.
He's basically trying to take down this drug ring called the White Boys, which I absolutely love.
Which is hilarious because I watch things with subtitles. So it's popping up, white boy number 1, white boy number 2.
I thought they were being like kind of like throwing racist jokes, and then I was like, no, wait, the gang is called the White Boys.
That's what I
This is
was
awesome.
reading the subtitle. I was like, what? Like, oh, no, they called the white boys.
Bunch of dirty white boys. He thought he was with the foreigner when he wrote it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, he's trying to take down this gang called the White Boys. And he's in this sting operation. And basically, during the sting operation, his partner goes undercover to do a drug buy, and he gets discovered, and he gets killed by the White Boys. But during that sting operation, another drug dealer comes and interrupts the sting operation and kills a lot of white boys. um, but come to
Interdimensional
find,
druggie.
right? Come to find out, this drug dealer though is not exactly from this part of town.
Say the least.
So yeah, basically, the drug dealer that comes invades is from outer space, and he's come to basically take, what was it he took from their brains, like melatonin or serotonin
Endorphins.
or some shit.
They're taking endorphins.
Endorphins, that's what he
Right.
takes.
He would drug them up. Like he would take
Right.
people that were already kind of high and then create the drug from that.
Yes.
He's shooting them up with heroin and stealing all the high they get.
Yes.
The rush of endorphins. They get that pure high, brother.
Exactly, and that's the reason why he's there to like bust up the drug thing, because he's stealing the drug dealer's heroin so he can
Yeah.
make his drugs.
So he can make super heroin.
Anything like in Frankenhooker when he made super crack?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, so Dolph Lundren basically finds out that he's chasing an alien, and the federal government decides to interfere, and they partner him up with this, yuppie
By the
rule,
books.
by the
Yeah,
books,
by the books. Yeah.
federal agent. And it becomes sort of like a buddy cop film at that point.
And they
But
give him like standard Agent Smith name, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, real quick before we get into our thoughts about I Come in Peace, I just wanted to give you a little bit of factoids about I Come in Peace. So it was released a few months earlier than it was in the States internationally under the name Dark Angel. And the reason why they changed the name from Dark Angel to I Come in Peace is because in America, there were several movies that had been released in the past that were called Dark Angel. So they wanted to like differentiate from those movies, so they called it I Come in Peace. It had an estimated budget of $8 million. It had a box office of $4 to $5 million, so it was a flop. It was directed by a guy named Craig Redding Baxley, and a cool background Craig Redding Baxley has. He's actually a stunt coordinator, a stunt performer, and he acted before he made this movie.
But I think his best movie was Action Jackson.
Well, yeah. He was a stunt performer on movies like Gemini Man, the TV series MASH, and Roots, and other various films and television. He was a stunt coordinator on The Warriors, the movie The Warriors, and the television show A-Team. I don't know if you guys remember the A-Team, but
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah. He was also a second unit director, and he was second unit director on movies like Reds and The Predator, which is pretty cool. And yes, his first directorial debut was Action Jackson with Carl Weathers, and he also directed Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah, I remember
Stone
that.
Cold.
Like a FBI agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so mad back in the day when there wasn't any sequels to Action Jackson.
I know, it was so good. I love Action Jackson. Who doesn't love Carl Weathers? Come on,
Right.
Rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
And Craig T. Nelson is cold blooded as hell in that movie.
Craig T. Nelson. Yep.
He helps that dude up as they're doing martial arts together and breaks his arm. Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah. And of course, starred Dolph Lundgren as Detective Jack Kane, who we all know from Rocky IV, Masters of the Universe, The Punisher, and Universal Soldiers.
Yep.
It also starred Brian Benben, who you might know from the HBO TV series Dream On.
One of my favorite sitcoms ever.
Yep. And Private Practice. He was also in Private Practice. It also stars Betsy Brantley, who mostly acted in European films. But interestingly enough, she was one of the performance artists for Jessica Rabbit for Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was doing my research, guys. I was doing my research. And the film also stars Matthias Hughes, a 6'5" German actor who plays the alien villain of the film. Hughes appeared in a few B-movie action movies, including No Retreat, No Surrender, Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of grunt acting in this one.
I come in bitch.
He was also in that movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it had Lou Ferrigno in it, and he was like a simple-minded guy that they had fight as a pit fighter, a cage fighter, and one of the fighters he fought, I think, was Matthias. Yeah.
Matthias? Oh, you got to send me that. I definitely want to see more stuff with this guy. But the film also has a few cameo roles from well-known actors like Sherman Howard, who, if you don't know, he played Bub in George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. And he also played Lex Luthor in Superboy, the Superboy TV show. And also had an appearance from Sam Anderson, who played a bunch of characters on television from series like Perfect Strangers, Growing Pains, Angel, Lost. These are the two head white boys, basically. There were two of them. Now, although this movie was a box office flop, it eventually developed a cult following, and it was a success on DVD, home rental, VHS.
Well, it's funny when you say that too, right? Because so many movies that are talked about today weren't box office hits.
Yeah.
But the ones that were hits back then aren't talked about now.
Exactly.
For the most part, it's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. But yeah, like, well, a lot of these guys that did these movies, like, and another company I'll think of all the time when I think of a movie like this is Canon Pictures.
Yes.
Yep.
They focused on what they were going to make on VHS rentals before anything, and when they got out of that mindset, they went bankrupt. So
right. Yeah, a lot of movies recouped their money on the VHS rental and all of that stuff. If they didn't make it in the theaters, a lot of them made it on home video. But yeah, man, I just want to get everybody's overall thoughts on I Come in Peace. I'll tell you this. This was a movie that I grew up with, that I saw in the movie theaters. I actually saw this when it came out in the theaters because I was a big Dolph Lundren fan. I don't know who wasn't after Rocky IV and Masters of the Universe, you know what I mean? I'm a sci-fi guy, so it had a freaking badass alien, that looked like, I don't know what the hell he looked like. Bleached blonde, fucking white eyes, scary looking dude. And what I remember most about this movie is that guy, the alien guy. I don't even remember Dolph Lundren too much in this movie, or his partner, Michael Ben. So, is it the best acted movie in the world? Nah. Is it as memorable or as talked about as some of the action movies by Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger? Maybe not. But it has that ingredient, that big guns, big explosions, and memorable lines. So this is something that's kind of stuck with me, and I wanted to cover it because I just feel like nobody talks about it at all. As much people love Dolph Lundren, as much people love this genre, this is one that doesn't come up too often. So I just wanted to give it some love in 2025. So, Gary, I'll start with you. What are your overall thoughts on I Come in Peace?
Well, I mean, one of the initial draws for me, obviously, is Dolph Lundgren, who I loved his Punisher movie, even though it gets too much hate. It was not as bad as people make it out to be. It was. I still enjoy it today. I think it's great. One of the main reasons I wanted to see this movie, though, believe it or not, was because of Brian Ben. Because back when this came out, man, I was watching Dream On HBO every week, and that show's impossible to find now because HBO doesn't own it. And this is owned by the guy who made it, who's the guy who also made Friends and other sitcoms. But this was his adult sitcom. And I just remember loving this because this was like the Dream On was like the comedy show that you were watching when you were really young, and you were getting to see boobies and stuff on it when you're not supposed to. So you're having a blast. You're watching this. Martin Tupper's kind of a man whore. His ex-wife Judith is kind of a woman whore. They're sleeping with everybody, sometimes even with each other, even though they're broken up. And of course, every time they do it, creates some kind of kerfluffle. It's all madness. So like having him in it, I was like, oh, cool. So when I saw he was acting against character in this one, he wasn't the funny womanizing guy. He was too tight under the collar, got to do everything by the books, or I'm going to go tell on you type of dude. It was just weird to see him play such a stick up the ass type of character, you know, and but I thought the dynamic between him and Dolph was great. And I did think some of the best writing was given to Brian Benben, because that character could have came off really shallow. He actually was able to add a little bit of depth to that character where you didn't think he was just an asshole. You kind of like understood where he was from, even though you knew he was wrong. You're like, all right, he's got to come around at some point.
Well, you don't like me because I make twice more than you make?
Yeah, well, his arrogance got shot down pretty quick. Although I think the missed opportunity was when Dolph Lundgren kept giving him a count. That's one. That's two. That's like, and then he throws him against the car. I was like, come on, you got to hit him at least once, and he didn't hit him. I was like, damn it. But the character wasn't just usually those type of characters. They make them spineless in the movie, and he wasn't spineless. He got himself out of his own jam when they caught him and kidnapped him. The white boys had him. Once he was on Dolph's side, he was a good partner then, and he was doing his part to try to save. I mean, he did go out like a chump because at the end when he got knocked out, because you got to let Dolph save the day. It's his movie.
Yeah.
But this movie I enjoyed because it's one of those quintessential guilty pleasure movies, right?
Yeah.
You're watching a movie that you know isn't good. You know the acting's bad. You know the script isn't great. You know there's drop plot lines throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the white boys.
The white boys, right?
Where they just don't follow up on almost anything they start with. And it doesn't matter. Because you're getting what it tells you in the commercial, in the trailer, right? It's one-liners, it's action, it's set pieces, and it's fun. So you're just looking for your high-octane summer draw movie, and you're not looking to have your life changed by it. You're just looking to leave with a smile when it's done.
Hell
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, dude. Hell yeah. So I assume you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did watch it a second time last night. So I watched it twice in the last 3 days.
Awesome.
Oh,
dude.
very dark set too. I didn't remember how dark the movie was.
Yeah, definitely. It is, even though it's set in the present day, it gives off this neo dystopian future type vibe, even though it's not that at all, but it gives that vibe to me.
And it surprises you too, right? Because Dolph Lundgren, they do a great thing with perspective on this, because Brian Benben's way shorter than Dolph. So when Brian Benben comes on, Dolph looks incredibly huge. He looks like a giant.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, that's Dolph Lundgren right there. Right? That's the hero. And then Matthias comes on, and he makes Dolph Lundgren look like Brian Benben.
Well, it makes a legitimate threat to this guy. Like, even Dolph Lundgren's in trouble.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. These are big fucking aliens, guys. You don't want to mess with these things.
You got to mention too. This could be considered a Christmas movie.
I know.
And that opening's hilarious. Like you're like, oh, all right, this guy's day is about as bad as it's gonna get. Then something else happens. Then something else happens. But then something else happens.
Hell yeah, Gary. Hell yeah. But Jake, what are your overall thoughts on I Come in Peace?
Well, surprisingly enough, I had never seen that one. I watch a lot of trash, so I'm big. I mean, just before you had mentioned that one, I was watching Universal Soldier, which is like, I'm very used to Dolph being the bad guy in a lot of his films.
Right.
So it's very interesting to see him as like, the good guy. I loved it, man. It's your typical testosterone fueled I almost said like 80s because it really has that 80s feel, but it's 1990, but it's definitely got the 80s feel.
I call all movies from the year 1990. They're still 80s
Yeah.
movies to
Yeah,
me
it's
because
still
they're,
Right.
they're
There,
all
there,
filmed.
there were
Yeah.
80s movies that snuck into the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
for
this is
sure.
one
This
that got
one
out.
definitely
Yeah.
did. To be honest, I think like I've watched it twice within the last like month, I believe. I watched it again like yesterday night and today, like half and half. Because I'm also like working on something for tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I first thing was like the whole like drug aspect was very interesting, which like I didn't even like kind of comprehend what he was doing. Like I'm like, why is this guy like injecting something into their like chest and then like stabbing something into their forehead until like kind of like what was his name? Azek kind of like explains it in the back of the car. And I was like, oh, you know, I was like that okay, it makes sense now. Um but yeah, I mean overall I enjoyed it, man. It was a great film. You mentioned how dark it was, and I was just thinking it kind of reminds me of like like Predator 2, where it's very like the whole
Yep.
like film is just very dark, and definitely got that. I loved all the one-liners. Um, you know, I was reading something. There's like the good alien's very fluent in English, but the bad one can only say "I come in peace."
Yeah.
Um, but,
Drug dealers ain't gonna beat
He's
a
been using his own
Rosetta
product too
Stone.
much, Jake.
yeah. Um, but overall, it even comes down to like the goofy music, so that 80s synth, you know what I mean? Like I think there's maybe like two songs, like maybe two or three actual songs with like lyrics like in the actual and one's like at end credits, and I don't remember, there's maybe like one or two other ones, but a lot of it's just like action, no music, and then you get your synth for like all the action kind of stuff like that. So but overall, like again, like nothing like spectacular, but like that was the other thing, it's entertainment. I think a lot of people like forget that today. Like when
Yep.
I go into a movie that like I have at first I try not to have expectations for stuff. But like when I'm trying not to be like, it was a bad movie, or like, to me like it was entertaining. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
hands down, like it was entertaining. I wasn't mad that I watched it or anything or thought it was like complete garbage.
Right.
Um, I watched it twice. I'll probably add it to the repertoire down the road of a film that I'll probably continue watching. But definitely entertaining. I'm pretty easy to please. You know what I mean? Like uh, action, explosions, big guns, babes, hilarious. Like one of the interactions with his girlfriend that I'll probably talk about later was just like,
Yeah.
just classic writing. You know what I mean? Like the classic tropes. This was like that movie.
Well,
But
and I think with action movies too, you got to keep just in all genres, right? Because one of the things when I'm judging a movie, I'm judging it based on its target audience. Not everything's meant to be Schindler's List. You don't want everything to be Schindler's List.
Right.
Not everything's meant to be B movie schlock, and not everything's the worst movie you ever saw. Yeah,
Right.
to me, you have to judge something on who they're directed on who they're directed. This is just meant to be cheesy action summer flick fun, and it hits the notes.
It hits the notes, yeah.
Like blockbuster kind of thing,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I like how you said that too, because both of you guys really, because it's just fun, right? Giant moronic splendor. That's what we call it around here.
Yeah.
This is definitely giant moronic splendor.
Right.
Like you don't expect the best actor. I mean, to be quite honest with you, Dolph Lundren is probably the worst actor in this movie. Don't kill me.
No, that's Matthias.
Yeah. I mean, but it's very much like Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they've grown into like being better actors from like their first few films. You know what I mean? To where like now they're a lot better than they were. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know, especially like Arnold, you know, coming in not really knowing English, and I think what was his first movie? It was like Hercules, was it? Like
Yep.
Yeah, and his voice was
in New
dubbed.
York. Yeah.
But
Hell yeah, dude. Matt, man, what's your overall thoughts on I Come
Well,
in Peace?
in my experience on reviewing bad movies or B movies, you have to judge them on a different metric. You can't just be like, okay, this movie's not going to win any Academy Awards. We knew that. This movie wasn't going to win any critics' hearts. There was going to be like, oh, this Siskel Ebert give it 2 thumbs up. Okay, does it have explosions in it? Is it fast paced? Does it have some memorable one liners in it and some memorable characters?
Yeah.
It's all 4 of those.
yeah,
Now, does the story make sense? Not completely. I'm with Jake. Like, it took till like Agent Smith explained why he's doing what he's doing for me to figure out what the hell he was doing.
yeah,
And if you have to do that, then it kind of can hurt the writing. I'm not. So they weren't going to win any like awards for the writing on this, but for what it is, it's just schlock. It's a schlock movie. It's what it is. Like this kind of movie in 1990, I would have been about 11 or 10 years old or 12 years old in 1990. That I would have went into the video store and rented me a Nintendo game, and then I would have got my mom to rent me this movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is the type of movie that is. It is what it is. It's not like I said, not going to win any awards. It wasn't going to be like, oh, this movie grossed $300 million in 1990. It's not going to happen. But it is what it is. You know, it's got like all the standard tropes of an action movie. You got this detective who lives in an apartment that he really can't afford. Like
I know.
we're reviewing Cobra next week on Bad Cinema. And it's the same thing. Stallone and Lundgren, he goes into his hotel. I mean, he's got this big fancy loft apartment with all this refined.
it was decked out too.
Fine, like you're like,
Yeah,
okay. First off, you have a policeman's siren. There's no way in hell. And then you got the guy, an opposing bad guy, Mateus. Is like one of those guys. I would not want to run this guy in a dark alley. And I also feel he's German, so I'm not going to try not to say anything off color, but I'm just glad we didn't have to fight him in World War II.
Right.
I could have took out an entire battalion by himself.
And that's the one thing, the bad guy had presence in this. When he showed up on screen, you weren't paying attention.
yeah.
And he doesn't even have to say anything. It's
Right.
just like, holy shit, look at this guy. You know, and you also get the feeling like, because if they just had like some normal guy, they look like one of us against Dolph Lundren, Dolph Lundren could kick this guy's ass in 2 seconds.
Right.
But this guy gave real danger. And also, you know, at least the characters kind of did have like a story arc, like the Agent Smith guy. Yeah, he's kind of snarky, uppity, kind of yuppie guy who's like working against him at every step. And then when he finally, when his own people try to kill him, he's like, all right, I'm on board 100%. It kind of reminds me of that movie in that way. I don't know if you remember The Rookie with Charlie Sheen and Clint Eastwood.
Mm.
It's kind of like that. Like Charlie Sheen's want to follow the rules, and then he like gets kind of like piss and vinegar like Clint Eastwood does at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
So like he's just not going to take it anymore. And like for 1990, I think it was pretty cool to have like I know it wasn't supposed to be a CD, but it looks like he's shooting a CD out of his wrist, and then it was kind of a cool concept. You have to admit that, even for like a low budget movie. But like I say, you have to judge movies like this on a different metric. You can't just, because there's going to be editing errors. There's going to be like, sometimes if you look hard enough, you'll see a boom mic or something in the shot, or you'll see the cameraman in a mirror. Or they'll screw something up and they'll just leave it in. But you can't judge it on stuff like that because it's not that kind of movie.
Exactly.
And I love the 80s, 90s style over the shoulder close up, like they did with Dolph when he looked up, and like you're like, that's a 90s shot. Where's Michael Mann?
Like the classic 80s looking at the camera like Smokey and the Bandit or Magnum PI when he's like looking in the camera like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The villain in this is absolutely memorable. His look is memorable. And you know, even though it doesn't have, you know, the best this or that, I do believe the premise is pretty badass. Like alien drug dealers. That's
Right.
awesome, right? Because most alien movies, the aliens are, omnipotent. They're here to take over. They're way smarter, way better. No, these guys are pieces of trash, just like
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, he's
He
just here
kind
to
of
clear
looks
the
like
plot.
one too, man. To be fair, like he's not. He's definitely like got that ragged dress. He reminds me of like the exterminators that come in Critters.
Critters,
And
yes.
like they just got like the horrible clothing, like they look like
Yeah.
they've been in a spaceship for years. You know what I mean? Coming down here to mine their Barcy to sell back home and get a couple extra dollars.
Yeah.
For
And
some
who
reason, I
doesn't
got
want?
a time
Who
cop
doesn't want
vibe
that
out of it.
damn gun? Who doesn't want that big ass gun that he has? My
Yeah.
Oh
lord,
yeah, right.
that gun is crazy.
And it shot how many different ways? You had like the fire blast, the regular shots.
I'm taking this baby to level 4.
It's like when that one guy fires, it knocks him like backflip. He's like, that thing
Right.
really kicks, don't it? Did anybody else get a time cop vibe from this? You think time cop may have like
Yeah, dude,
kind of stole the
absolutely.
premise a little bit?
That's what I'm saying. It has like this neo noir sort of dystopian future feel to it, even though it's
Right.
none of those things.
But I think that also worked for it because it did have its own noir-esque feel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's
No,
kind of like
absolutely.
sci-fi noir.
Yep, for sure. All right, guys. So I want to get into characters, guys. I want you guys to highlight a favorite character or performance in this movie, and we've got a couple to choose from. So Gary, what's a character or performance that you like to highlight from my?
Good, I'm glad you chose me first because I didn't want anyone to steal Brian Ben from me.
Yeah, let's go.
Again, Dream On was just one of my favorite shows. I never missed an episode. I watched it all 6 seasons it was on. And just to see him go play something different, I really enjoyed. Even though I wanted to see him get his ass kicked a few times after he was acting, but it was great. It was great to see him in a completely different perspective. Because back then I only knew him from Dream On. So I thought he was a good little scene stealer for his scenes. And also, he was also a little Weasley because, he did end up stealing the weapon and everything, even though he never told Dolph he did.
Yeah. I honestly, in my opinion, he's probably the best actor in this film. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
and he's also, like you said, he might be a little uptight, he might be a little by the book, but he's also has moral compass, right? Like he wants to do what's right no matter what. He just doesn't know that the side he's playing for.
He's
isn't
always trying to serve the
necessarily-
greater good, even if it's
Yeah.
misguided.
And he's not soft either, because he stands up to Dolph Lundren. Like you said, Dolph Lundren is way bigger than him.
Right. Well, he's not really a bitch in the movie. Usually they make that type of character the bitch of the movie, and he wasn't. He he had his moments, and
Yeah. And he wanted to shoot the alien every fucking chance he got. Like
right, and then when his superior wanted to kill Kane, he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he saw his moral compass shift.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a great part of the movie. But Jake, what's a character or a performance you want to highlight in this film?
Can I give you like two little ones?
Sure,
And then,
go for it, dude.
yeah, so I think they're funny because these people like stuck out to me. Was Boner, Michael J. Pullman.
Yep,
Uh,
he's great in everything.
Like
he's
I've
in.
known him. He's been in a few movies like House of Thousand Corpses and Scrooge. He's just like, he also has like an odd presence that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And then of course I gotta give it up to my man, the luggage salesman, Al Leong, who's like basically known as like the movie henchman. He's basically the henchman, right?
Yeah.
He's been in like, Lethal Weapon, Big Trouble Little China, Die Hard.
Yep.
He's amassed really like this kind of like cult following. I'm not gonna take the main people. I think like one of the funnier ones that I thought like out of the main characters was Diane, Betsy Brantley. And what I was talking about earlier was like her little interactions where I'm like, this is so like trope and cult
Yep.
They almost like take it to like another level to like let's find the worst way they can say stuff where like they're getting ready to kiss and she's like, promise me you'll take me to the beach or promise me this and that, like, and
Make me one of your promises.
just kind of looks at her and like, all right, back to kissing. And then she's like,
I like
man,
the way.
I don't know if I hate you more or if I should hate myself more for letting you do this to me.
Right.
I'm like, oh my god, this is just like the biggest piece of cheese like I've ever seen. But I love it because it's like you know it's like if I were to like come up with like a film, you know, with my vast like B horror movie knowledge, like I would take like the worst shit and put it into a movie. You know what I mean? So like I really enjoyed that. I thought, you know, all those people were really funny, and I think, you know, Betsy did a great job of playing that kind of trope character for sure.
I like that you picked her too because she smacks everybody. Like she
when she slaps Brian Ben in the elevator.
I like it when she messes around with that Agent Smith when they're in the autopsy. She's like, "Well, I can cut his head open right now if you want to see." I'll take your word.
Yeah, she smacked Dolph like twice. And then she did exactly what you said, Jake. She did the tropey thing, like, all right, come take me. Like, she smacked him like 2 times. So, hell yeah, good choice, Jake. Good choice.
They had to build up the sexual tension first, Fable.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, what would these movies be without a girl like Betsy in it, right? All these movies have her. But she played the tropey part to the T, for sure. Matt, what's a performance or actor that you want to highlight in this movie, man?
I got to go with my boy, Matthias Hughes.
There you go.
The big bad German. This guy, if you were like going to go like, I want to create a final boss character, I think they could have made this guy in a factory. He's just the way. And this guy, I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's still
still jacked, dude.
Still jacked like that. He was in a movie last year called the Last Kumite. If you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. And it's just and like also I like him because in real life because he kind of he's in on the joke, right? You know, I know I'm probably not the best actor, but he'll tell you fun stories about being in these movies. And also he's very physically imposing. Like I said, if you're going to have somebody like Dolph Lundgren or Arnold Schwarzenegger or like another guy that's a very imposing looking dude, you have to have somebody that could believably fight him. Because I've seen some movies like, look, I love Commando, but the guy that Bennett in it, I can't remember his name, but he was Road Warrior.
Kind of chubby dude, like, you know,
big dude. He wasn't even in any shape to be fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger. But
yeah, for sure.
So like you got I liked him as a bad guy in it, but like
he had the mental piece down.
There needs to be like an actual threat, like in Enter the Dragon when Bruce Lee's getting ready to face like Bolo.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, Bolo might be able to mess this brother up. I don't know. You know
so, anytime Bolo showed up, like that actor showed up in anything, you're like, it's about to go down.
It's all right now. It's like him or what's his name?
Tong Po, my man Tong Po.
He was always in the ninja movies. What's his name? Wasagi. He was like in Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, Return of the Ninja. Like when he was in the movie, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good now. You know, he always played the ninja. So, but like, yeah, if you have somebody like I don't know, if I have an action movie and I see the cast and it says Matthias Hughes is going to be in it, 99% of the time I'm going to watch that damn movie.
There you go. Hell
and
yeah.
You know what? Actually, he didn't have that many lines in the movie. Just as I come in peace, I come in peace. You know, and but he's just so physically intimidating. You're like, oh my god, are they going to stop this guy? Almost like the Terminator. Like I think they took a little homage or rip off from the Terminator in this movie too. This guy's like almost unstoppable.
Yeah. You remember the part where they shoot the car and it blows up?
Yeah.
And he fucking comes running out of the fucking car and chasing them, and he's running at like Mach 10. I don't know. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like this guy. Yeah, no, that dude. Without saying much, he is absolutely memorable. He's visually striking.
Near the end, when he showed up on the street and he took out the remaining white boys and that one poor cop.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. No, for sure, for sure. He's a
He just
badass.
kept going forward, and there was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah. I'm surprised he wasn't used in more of these 80s, 90s, action movies. He's in a lot of stuff, but most of them are straight to cassette things. I would have liked to see him in an Arnold movie or
Yeah.
Sylvester movie or Van Damme
Yeah.
movie or something like that. But yeah, good choice, man. Absolutely. He's probably the most memorable part of this movie when people think about I Come in Peace. It's just Matthias Hughes. Um, I would go with the lead actor, Dolph Lundren, but like I said, I think he gives some of the worst performances in his career in this movie, especially when his partner dies. That was horrible, dude. That fake crying he was doing. Um, so I'm gonna highlight. I'm gonna go Jake's route, and I'm gonna highlight the little scientist dude that studies the
Right.
disc. That dude was crazy, dude.
When he was all stressed out, and he's just
Was he drinking out of his little beakers too?
Yeah, he was making his own coffee that was like 10
Yeah,
times
yeah.
He's
stronger.
making his own cocktail
Well,
lab.
He was fucking shaking through the whole thing. Oh,
well,
yeah,
they did a good job making the little characters memorable.
right, right. Definitely had me dying, that dude. I don't know what it was about his performance. He's just like a smart ass
Yeah.
almost, but like super, super nervous about everything. I like that dude. So that's the character I'm gonna go with for a standout performance. All right, let's talk about style and structure, guys. We touched on it a little bit. We talked about its neo noir kind of quality to it. But feel free to go more in depth. Gary, what do you think about the style and structure? Cinematography,
Uh,
length,
I like
story.
obviously. I mentioned it had some of the classic '80s, '90s camera shots, right, with the over the shoulder close up. Some of the action scenes, you had they're in the club, you had the little titty flashes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But the thing that stood out for me in this one was just it had a good horror vibe to it, even though it wasn't super horror. The coloring, the darkness, the vibe, the dress, the dress up, and even Dolph, you know, he they made him every time he was dressed, he was kind of dressed like the White Knight character, right? So he was always the light and the darkness in every scene he was in. So they did a good job with the wardrobe with that, because you always knew Dolph was the guy. But very dark overtones everywhere. The streets, even the opening Christmas scene with the Christmas music was still super dark.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so dark you didn't know what was going on. It was balanced. It just had a dark vibe. It had a horror vibe to it. It also had a classic like it kind of reminded me of old 50s sci-fi B movies, right?
Mm.
Where it was just, this is the monster we got to defeat. How are we going to do it, gang? And it just had that fun vibe to it. So it had like a good old horror 80s vibe with some 50s schlock throwback.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It definitely gives a horror vibe for sure. Because I was scared of that alien when I was a kid. That was one of the things that I remember, like being like, "Yo, this dude is scary." Like, I would not.
Simple white
Yeah,
contact lenses, and they work brilliantly with that dude.
yeah. And even though it's like I'm an adult now, it's kind of corny when he goes, "I come in peace." But when I was a kid and he said, "I come in peace," I'm like, "Shit."
Mhm.
Yeah, nothing scarier than a balding alien with white eyes.
Make you think twice next time an alien comes down and says, "I come in peace."
Right? Exactly.
Like, do you?
Oh,
Well, didn't they say that in Mars Attacks too? I come in peace. I come in
Yeah,
peace.
yeah.
They just keep killing people.
Jake, style and structure. What do you think, man?
Oh Lord, yeah. I like Gary said, there is stuff to it. I feel like the writing was very formulaic in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like taking everything and just kind of like very from the beginning to the end, very simple. But simple is not always bad. You were talking about the way they're dressing. I was thinking it's very like Lethal Weapon, like Riggs Murtaugh.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
definitely 80s cop drama.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Dolph's got his like
Absolutely.
collar kind of pops, and you know Smith's got his like suit and jacket kind of thing, like Murtaugh. You know,
Right. The Sears and Roebuck suits for the cops.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm getting too old for this shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. You know, the cinematography was cool. You know, definitely a lot of like I don't want maybe not so much like choppy, but just very like back and forth, especially like with the explosions, almost to a point where like sometimes it felt like maybe they were reusing some footage, especially when he's like
Yeah.
running and all the cars are exploding, and it's like, did I
Yeah.
just see that scene? You know what I mean? But a lot of stuff, you know, again, like the writing, you know, not the best, but I think overall, like for what it was, like Matt says, you know, like it hits all the markers for like a good B movie for me, you know,
Yeah.
a good action movie. And it doesn't even have to be like a great action movie, but it hits all the notes for me.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of explosions in this movie.
Yeah.
a lot of
We
a
got
lot
to
of
make explosions.
shit. They blew up a lot of cars in this film.
Well, yeah, another 90s trope, right? Everything's an explosion. Like a pebble could hit that car and it's going up.
I feel like they had the guns on high the entire time because when Ben Ben gets his gun, he's like doing the little baby one, and then he's like, you know, saves it for the one time he needs the big payoff, and it doesn't shoot. You know what I mean?
Right, right. No, absolutely. Matt, style and structure. What do you think?
Well, it's got all the classic one-liners in it. We have people walking away while something explodes. So several times, and like another thing I always say about a movie like this is like, do you ever see an action sequence where you're like, oh shit, I wonder if the stuntman died when they did that? Because I got somebody bit it hard on that one.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I remember watching American Ninja where they do the bike jump. I was like, somebody about died doing that. But so yeah, and it's got like, I don't know, it's just like if you were making a 90s action film or an 80s action film, you have the same, like I said before, it's the same standard outline for it. Now there are some like sometimes the editing get a little rough because they're like it's in your face and like go here to here, but they're trying to do it real quick. So
Right.
I understand why they do that, but it's got like the classic close-ups. You know, you got the obligatory nudity scene. It doesn't really need to be there. It's just there. So
No, it
It
needs
needs-
to be
it
there,
needs to
Matt.
be
there.
It needs to be there, Matt.
Matt, anything that I've learned, you know, for me, at least for a B horror movie, the sooner you see tits, the better the movie's going to be.
Yeah, well, like, you're like, okay,
That's
the acting's
formula.
bad,
That's straight
the
formula,
writing's
Matt.
bad, yeah, the editing's bad, but you know what? We did see some boobs.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we did.
You know,
It took
and a
about
good rat,
25,
too.
30 minutes, but we did.
Yeah,
you know, a
a
classic
pretty
from
decent
that time
rat.
period is Death Stalker.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or like, or if your movie doesn't have much in it, just show the lead actors ripping her shirt off like 15,000 times at the end of the movie in The Howling 2, like they did. That probably will keep people in the seats.
That's why I saw Howling 2 a couple times. I'll tell you that much.
I used to just rewind forward to the end and watch the end of it. Just be like 50 times. I heard the actress was very pissed off that he did that too, by the way. But like, well, you know, it's at the scene. If he wants to do it, okay, he's going to do it. But yeah, so like a lot of this, like you don't see that a lot nowadays. These movies, like these people winning this movie, they knew they weren't going to win an Academy Award, by golly, but they made the best schlocky action B movie they could with what they had, and I think they did all right.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about it.
And you know what? At the end of the day, people forget they're actors. They're not acting all the time. Every movie is a paycheck, and you can pay your bills.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I agree with everything you gentlemen said. I think it is very formulaic. I think it does. It's very basic at its heart. I do love the style of it though, because, like Jake said earlier, the aliens remind me of the guys from Critters. And one of the things I loved about Critters were those damn bounty hunters. I love those bounty hunters.
They had some sick guns too, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's funny how the bounty hunter wardrobe doesn't change from star system to star system.
And, you know, the Academy Award winner for Best Picture 1990 was a little movie called Driving Miss Daisy, but I don't hear anybody talking about that movie anymore.
There you go.
We're
not reviewing that one
right now. So, all right. Although I'm not saying it wasn't a good movie. Morgan Freeman is great in it,
but structure wise, I mean, who could complain about a movie that's under an hour and a half? Right? Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's one of my favorite things about movies is when they're an hour and a half, they hit that sweet spot just before it starts getting boring, just before you start looking at your fucking watch and like, when is this shit? How long do I got left? This thing definitely hits it. But of course, there's a lot of shit that they kind of dropped the ball on. I would have loved to see more with the white boys. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was a pretty strong
missing out on the white boys.
Yeah,
I want to know their backstory a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, they set them up pretty decently. Like, you know what I mean? You had the first white
boy. Have to
get
Fable that I love white boys.
typical white boys, bro. Salesmen driving fancy cars.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
how badass
they literally came into a business meeting. You know what I mean? Like.
They're all these yuppie Ivy League dudes, and they're all fucking badass drug dealers and shit.
They all had guns in that meeting too. Like,
they all had guns.
It kind of reminds me of the little kid in RoboCop 2. It's always running.
And you know what that stupid movie reminded me of? Everybody that had those stupid ass car alarms back then.
Yeah,
when Dolph was leaning in all the cars and they're going off. That was so annoying.
They spend a lot of time with the white boy. I mean, the movie opens up with them robbing the police station, which was pretty badass. That was a pretty dope ass scene. And the white boy that killed his partner, he just disappears. He fucking disappears. Like, I'm on vacation. It's like the actor said, "All right, I did my 10 minutes. I'm out of here."
That thing was there never gets resolved.
Yeah,
I want to see a sequel where Dolph Lundren goes where he's at and hunts him down like a dog.
Exactly. But like Gary said earlier, even though that plot line is just dropped, it still doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the alien is what really takes over this movie. It's what you really came to see. And I think it does its job effectively. So yeah, man, style and structure, pretty decent. What up, Iman? All right. So let's get to the music, man. We talked about the music. I don't know who did the music for this movie. I tried to look it up and I couldn't find a composer. But I will say this. It has that synth kind of shit going on, that dark synth quality to it that I do enjoy. But other than that, it's not totally memorable for me, right? Like, there's no real thing in there that, like, I said, oh man, that part of the music was fantastic. So for me, the music was just okay. It did its job. But Gary, any thoughts on the music?
Well, you kind of hit it in the head. I don't remember any. I just watched twice in the last 3 days. I can't remember one piece of music from this movie. So that tells you how memorable the score was, right? And the song selection. Usually I remember at least one or two songs from a movie. I can't tell you what was in the background of this movie at all.
I don't blame you.
Completely forgettable soundtrack and score.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know what? Why I kind of like caught it a little bit. I'm a big video game head. And right now I'm replaying Mass Effect. I don't know if you guys ever played Mass Effect.
Yeah, I played it.
But Mass Effect has the same exact score that this movie has. It has that boom, 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 that synthesizer shit. And I like that kind of stuff. So, but Jake, man, any thoughts on the music?
No, I mean, like, you know, like Gary said, I would say if it wasn't synthing up, you know, with some 80s goodness, it was dead air, and it was just, you know, conversation, and them talking, and then right, I think like the last, you know, actual like song was really for the credits at the very end, which was actually like a song that kind of like played into the theme of what was going on at the very end. But yeah, I mean, you know, definitely something that I want to go buy the soundtrack of, you know,
right?
Yeah, unless I'm playing like a retro game, you know what I mean, and then I'll turn that on mute and play this soundtrack.
Yeah.
But I think it played a purpose, and that was basically for atmosphere, I would say. And
Yeah.
you know?
I think the music definitely helps give it that noir vibe.
Yeah.
Even though it's not memorable or anything, it definitely gives you that tone. But Matt, anything to add for the music?
The only thing I can add is it does remind me of like the type of music that was in movies like this. It also kind of reminds me of the music, the background or the score for the movie Cyborg starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
And but also it's not. But the one good thing about it doesn't really distract you from what's going on in the movie. It's just good like background sound. It just like stereotypical. It kind of reminds you of like the kind of music they had in Mortal Kombat, the video game, or one of those old like Doom or Duke Nukem or something.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that type. It's like it's not like the Crow soundtrack or something, or like the Forrest Gump soundtrack, but it's passable.
It's serviceable, yeah.
Yeah.
I always say this about music and movies because my brother Robbie, Pop Culture Philosophers, he's big on the soundtracks and scores of movies, and I don't pick up on them as much as he does. Like, he picks up on the nuances of the music, and I say, hey, listen, the only reason you recognize the soundtrack is two reasons. One, it's either really fucking bad, or it's really freaking good.
Yeah.
That's the only time I pick up on it. And if I don't pick up on it, that means it did its job because it's there, right?
It didn't take you out of the film, and that was its job.
Right. So I this is one of those for me. Not too memorable, not too noticeable, but not annoying. I did like that little rap song that the forklift driver was rapping to before he died.
Yeah.
That one too.
Oh man. All right, man. So of course we're the pop culture philosophers. We like to philosophize on things. So I want to know, what does this movie say to you? What is the theme of I Come in Peace? What does it talk to you? Gary, what do you think that I Come in Peace is trying to say?
I just think it's trying to say exactly what it is, right? It's a big summer movie. It's saying we're big, we're mean, we're scary, and we're in your face. Come have fun. That's it.
There you go, man. Right, straight to the point.
It's not trying to get deep. It's just saying, look, we're going to make you smile. We're going to show you some cool shit on screen.
There you go. I love it. Jake, what's this movie talking to you, man? What's the
Although
theme?
I agree with Gary, I'm gonna philosophize a little bit on you here.
Go for it, bro. Let's do
Thinking
it.
about it. Theme overall: don't do drugs. I think if I can break it down, right, man? Drugs aren't just an Earth problem; it's an intergalactic problem.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
Drugs are not prejudice, man. They take on aliens. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
That's
They
why the
got
aliens
cops
crashed
coming to our planet, to get the drug dealers. I'm just saying. And on top of it, now we know how to get the best high in the world. You know what I mean? We just gotta go straight into the forehead to get the endorphins, man. You know what I mean? But if that's kind of like obviously not the theme, but it's it's a theme for me. I think it's kind of funny if I want to like really like nitpick at it. But overall, yeah, like definitely just it's the film is what it is. It's definitely like the overall. Don't think too hard, and it's just straight up good entertainment.
Oh yeah. When I hit Jake with the structure for the show, he was like, "Oh man, you should have hit me with this a while ago so I could think about it." And I said, don't worry about it. There's not too much themes in this movie. Just pull something out of your ass." And he pulled something out of his ass. I love it.
I'm just saying, man.
I love it, dude.
Matt, I had to do that one for you. Yeah.
Kind of piggyback on what Jake said. You may not be able to trust a human drug dealer, but you really can't trust an alien drug dealer.
There you go.
And also, if you see anybody trying to suck your brain out through a silly straw that shoots out of their wrist, run.
Oh yeah.
Especially if they're 7 foot tall and they're German.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Jake. I'm gonna try to pull something out of my ass. This movie right here is it's about trust in a lot of ways. Matt just said it a little bit, trust, but I think there's a lot of stuff with trust here that a lot of these guys um keep. It's a trope that keeps coming up in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like Dolph Lundren, right? He goes off of instinct, right? He tells his partner, like, what do you do when you can't find anything? I go off my instinct. He trusts himself, right? His girlfriend doesn't trust anything that he does, but she makes him promise shit like, promise me you're gonna take me somewhere, promise me, because they know that when he promises, they can trust him, right? His partner has 100% complete trust in his boss in the bureau, the federal bureau. He comes to find out they're fucking assholes, these guys, right? They try to kill him. His fucking boss tries to off him. And he learns to trust Dolph Lundren, right? Who told him, like, listen, not everything's what you see. Go off of your instinct, trust yourself. And so a lot of this for me is about trust. How's that? Was that pretty good? Did I pull that one?
That's part of the Kane manual, man. Page 1, chapter 1.
Trust no one.
Never trust nobody.
Never trust nobody.
Remember what Stone Cold Steve Austin said, DTA, don't trust anybody.
That
That's a
was
good
a horrible
one.
line too. Never trust nobody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All the 80s action heroes read that book.
Oh,
For sure. All right, man. Let's put a button on this. Let's rate this bad boy. Gary, out of 5 backlogs, what do you rate I Come in Peace?
I'm gonna rate it for its intended audience. So for its intended audience, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. All right, Jake. Out of 5 backlogs, what are you giving I Come in Peace?
Yeah. I'll rate it on rewatchability. I would definitely rewatch it. I've already rewatched it once. It's gonna be coming back at me again in the future. I'll give it a. I think I'll give it like a. Let's go with a 4 as well.
Hell yeah, dude.
I really enjoyed it. I would definitely watch it again, and definitely will in the future for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, this is making me happy here, man. I thought we were gonna get 2s or some shit like that. Matt, out of
Well, like
5
everybody else said,
backlogs,
what I
bro.
said earlier, when you go in to watch a movie like this, you can't be comparing it to movies like Raging Bull or Chinatown, or Taxi Driver. You have to compare it against its peers of what came out in the 90s action films and 80s. So I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5.
Wow.
I guess
Nice,
the two's
right?
up to you now, Fable.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm probably gonna fuck this up then. Oh, I want to
Damn it,
give it a
Tim.
4, but there's a lot of 4, like let's say Van Damme movies that are classics that are probably 4s that are probably
Yeah.
better than this one. You know what I mean? There's some Arnolds out there. There's some Steven Seagal movies out there that are probably 4s that are better
No,
than this
there's
one.
no 4-star Steven Seagal movie.
Under
Stop
Siege,
it
bro.
right there.
Under Siege. Okay, me and Matt was talking about Under Siege earlier.
Well, I'll at least give it 2 stars because of the playmate in it.
Exactly.
The only reason you watch a Steven Seagal movie for is the girl that's in it.
That's in it. Okay.
I'm just a cook.
I'm gonna go 3.69.
Okay.
That's a classic 80s answer, sir.
Not quite a 4, but it's
Still a good rating. If
Yeah,
it's in the 3 and 4 range, it's doing its job.
Yeah.
Wine 'em, dine 'em, 69 'em, bro.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend this to people who have an affinity for this era, this decade. You know what I mean? If you love Dolph Lundgren, if you love cheesy, schlocky 80s movies, low budget B stuff, this is a very well made B movie, schlocky action movie. You know what I mean? So I think it's definitely well deserving of 3.69 or even a 4. I love that you guys gave it a 4. So hell yeah, man. That's the review for I Come in Peace, the first movie of Action Fest, man. This has been awesome tonight, guys. Hell yeah. Before we get out of here, first I want to play a little clip of the upcoming movies on Action Fest, if you don't mind. Let me just play this little clip real quick. Oh yeah, man.
I gotta say though, Fable, you're missing a iconic '80s '90s action guy.
Who's that?
If you're going like with like Dolph Lundren, where it's like C tier fame, Rutger Hauer movies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well I'll write that down for Action Fest 2026. And I'll make sure I send you the invite. You too, Jake. You too, Matt.
Blind Fury. Yeah,
Blind Fury. We could do that one. But yeah, man, this has been great. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the movie review. Before we get out of here, Gary, what do you got coming up? Where can the people find you?
In 2 nights' time, on Thursday, I have Anachronic Comics on the 1011, and the theme of this 1011 is comics he bought for 2 cents back in the day.
Oh,
Y'all know Joe's been collecting for a while, let's say, and but he's got some 2 centers that are absolute bangers now that you wish you paid 2 cents for. So he's doing a 1011 of books he bought for 2 cents back on the stoop back in the day.
shit! Buy a comic for 2 cents. That's like unimaginable to me. Like that's
right. And then, well, yeah, he bought them from a friend back in the day for 2 cents.
Now you're,
I'm like,
now you're buying them for 500 cents.
And then following up on the 4th, not only do I turn 55 Friday, but I'm gonna have it's 3. I think it's 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's gonna be 3 o'clock. I have Metarog and Namen the Draman on. I have Namen on, and they're doing their bicentennial covers. I'm not gonna show anything. I'm just merely facilitating with my channel. I'm going to do the hosting duties while these 2 guys show off their great old covers.
Nice. Oh yeah! Happy birthday, dude, man! 55. That's awesome, dude.
Happy early birthday.
Oh yeah!
And I am starting to schedule for August. July is filled up. I'm starting to schedule for August for the 1011.
Let's go. I might have to get some stuff for you, Gary. Let me see what I can dig up. Jump on the 1011 again.
I've been trying to get you to do your My Little Ponies 1011.
Don't tell nobody, Gary. That was a secret. Shit. Oh man, always a pleasure having you, Gary. Man, thank you for joining.
Oh, thanks, Fable. I always love hanging out with you, dude. You know that.
Yeah, I know that you do your shows mostly on Tuesday nights. So it was, I'm very grateful that you're able to come on here on a Tuesday night and hang out with me and do one of these movie reviews. I know you're a big movie buff, so I had to get you on one of these, if not the horror ones, and at least the action one. I think I picked the right action one for us to do. So thank you.
We got to do Beastmaster one time.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, my plan, I'm planning it. I don't want to do it now as I'm not very equipped for it, because I want to show like little stills from the movies and things like that. And I don't really have that kind of thing to facilitate that, but I'm planning in the future to keep doing these movie reviews, because not only are they fun to hang out with people in the community who love movies, but they do pretty well for the channel, to be honest with you. I was really shocked at the numbers I was getting for my Horror Fest stuff. So, hell yeah, man. You're always invited. But Jake, man, first time ever I do a stream with you. First time, you're doing one of these movie reviews with me, man. Tell the people where they could find you, man.
Well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Hounds of Gore. Big things coming tomorrow for comic fans as well as horror fans. Me and my buddy Spud from Down Under, we are going to be interviewing Jeff Katz. He was the original screenwriter for Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Nice.
Definitely like one of my favorite runs out of the Army of Darkness catalog. This is like really big for us. It's also big for a lot of horror people, where you get to see the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash mashup. We've definitely like have wanted. Everybody has wanted that to come to pass. Unfortunately, it came to pass, in comic form. But I will say the comics are awesome. We're going to be interviewing him tomorrow live, 4 p.m. Central. You can find that either on my page. You can find the link on my page, or you can subscribe to AOD and ED Comics with an X. And he's streaming it live on his YouTube page. In August, we got another really special surprise in the works. Follow up greatly with this interview tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really stoked for that. I was watching Freddy versus Jason yesterday as well, just in preparation and doing my little rereads, and then I read his original screenplay as well, that they had up on Bloody Disgusting. So super stoked for that. Hope you can come in and join. It's going to be a big day for the horror gang, so it's gonna be sweet. This was awesome, man. Thanks for inviting me. I am like some other people. I go to bed really early.
Yeah.
I wake up super early for work, so but I was like, man, I'll do this one for Fable, because you know what I mean. Like, I definitely want to be a part of this. I love anything 80s B horror, or I'm a big testosterone steroid fueled action guy too, so it's like, this was definitely like right up my alley. So I really appreciate you having me on, brother.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you, Jake, man. Everybody go check out Jake Hounds of Gore. Check out that interview he's got coming up. And dude, he's an amazing artist as well. Hit him up for commissions, bro. He does great work, which he displays on his Instagram, Hounds of Gore. Check out my brother. Thank you for staying up, Jake.
Thanks,
I really
brother.
appreciate it, man. Matt, my brother, man. My homie. So glad you came to hang
I just
out
want to
today,
say,
bro.
yeah, I want to say thanks for inviting me. I had fun, and I hope I'm on petition right now, because True Romance is one of my favorite movies. So,
oh, dude, that was the
come back to
first
that.
movie to get filled up like immediately as soon as I put
True
it on.
Romance is so good, so good.
I mean, I'll be glad to come back for any of them, but I have several things going on my channel. First off, it's okay. I want to talk to everybody about. I'm closing on 500 subscribers, and I got a pretty good giveaway.
Ooh, let's go.
Jenny Prison Cup.
Oh,
Nice.
500 subscribers, so I'm at 465. So if anybody can help me out, and I know it doesn't have a COA, but she signed it because I saw her sign it, because I got it signed at HeroesCon. So
awesome, man.
now coming up on my channel Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Good Cinema. There'll be another episode of my show, Good Cinema, and we'll be reviewing the 2005 Steven Spielberg film Munich, starring Eric Bana and Daniel Craig, among other people. And it's a very like gripping, tense. You know what I mean? Like, these guys like do unspeakable things in the name of their country. They think they're doing it right, but at the end of it, they kind of wonder, did we do the right thing, or did we not do the right thing?
Mm.
So. And it's a good movie. It's a Steven Spielberg movie. You can't go wrong.
Right.
And it's it's based in actual fact. And then I have the Comic Lounge every Thursday night at 7:00 Eastern, and we just hang out. You guys are all invited if you ever want to show up. We just BS and watch movie trailers and talk about upcoming comic books and movies.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have the Sunday Super Show Extravaganza every Sunday at 6 p.m. We go over the new comic book day previews, the trending comics of the week, and my favorite segment called Out of Context Panels of the Week, which probably very soon will be its own show on itself.
I love that. Yeah, that is so brilliant.
Some of my favorite things to do. And then Monday at 12:30 Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, another episode of Bad Cinema. We will be reviewing the Sylvester Stallone film Cobra.
Nice.
Bad Cinema.
Let's go.
And just a reminder, by Bad Cinema doesn't mean it's not good. That's just what we call it.
Right.
And then on Tuesdays, I have a show at 8 p.m. Eastern. I have a show called Comic Conversations. And actually, Fable's been on the show. I'd like to have you guys on there sometime too, if you wouldn't mind, Gary.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Like today, I talked to C Bizzle from Couch and Slouching with C Bizzle. He's on the Council of Comics with Cliff, producer, and all those guys, and Green Shirt guy. If I left anybody out, I apologize. And then, but this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m., my guest will be the artist Lock Wynn.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And we'll be talking about his upcoming projects, and he'll show off some of his art. So,
yeah,
sweet.
Mad Monkey Love on Instagram.
Yep. Follow on Instagram, Mad Monkey Love.
Mad Monkey Love, Lock Wynn. Yeah, well, Matt, I gotta say, man, you're one of the newer friends that I've met on IG, and I've had a blast talking to you, chatting with you, jumping on your streams here and there. I am so happy that you got to hang out with me because I know you love a lot of the same shit that I love.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Up my alley. So I appreciate being invited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everybody go check out Matt, Hero for Hire, man. Always doing some bomb-ass streams. Guys, this has been a great, great show. Join us here next Tuesday where we are reviewing the movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy. And
So good.
yeah,
It's awesome.
based on the comic as
Right.
well, right? Wanted was a Mark Millar comic, so that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of great friends hanging out with for us with that. We're not having a show. We're not having a Blame Fable this Friday because, of course, we're celebrating the country's birthday. So everybody should be out there barbecuing, throwing fireworks, hanging out with the family, celebrating our country, celebrating America. But we will be back the following Friday on the 11th, where we're going to be kicking off Bags, Boards, and Badass Women. Basically, all our guests for a straight month will be nothing but the ladies of the comic book community.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a little bit of a sausage fest over there on Blame Fable. I'm tired of all these guys.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need some female perspective there. So I've invited Sheena from Melanin and Manga, Lady Fantastic, Madam Blaster, and of course Candace Barbosa. So we're gonna have a great time that whole entire month. Bags, Boards, and Badass Women starting July 11th. But of course, next Monday we're gonna be doing Action Fest over on Robbie's channel for the next movie in Action Fest, and his movies are The Raid and The Raid 2. Man, two of the badasses.
Those are
Badass
badass movies.
yeah, bad acidist movies you've ever seen. So go check him out on Pop Culture Philosophers, and again, the following night here for Wanted. Guys, love you. Everybody have a great night. Station.